Hey Hammers fans, before we get started, make sure to drop a like, leave your comment, and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any West Ham news. According to information published by the Spanish newspaper AS and echoed by Sport Witness, West Ham are directly involved in yet another major move in the market. The London club have emerged as one of the sides interested in submitting a formal bid for Conor Gallagher, the English midfielder, who currently plays for Atletico de Madrid after beginning his career at Chelsea. The news has landed like a bombshell in the Hammers press coverage. This is not one of those fleeting rumors that appear and vanish within a few days, but something being treated as concrete. Reports suggest that an offer could be submitted within hours, signaling that West Ham's board are working actively behind the scenes in an attempt to pull off a statement signing. And the numbers involved are not small. The figure mentioned is up to $40 million, roughly $35 million. For many supporters and analysts, the amount may seem high, but there's a clear understanding that this investment would make sense. Gallagher is not just another player on the rise. He is regarded as a complete midfielder capable of bringing defensive intensity, quality in transition, and also an attacking presence. It is rare to find a player who combines so many attributes at such a high level, and that is precisely what fuels West Ham's interest. Beyond his abilities on the pitch, the player's pedigree carries significant weight. Gallagher has already played in two of the most demanding leagues in the world, the Premier League and La Liga, while also gaining international experience in the Champions League and with the England senior team. This background places him on a different level from players who are still in the process of developing. It is the difference between betting on potential and signing someone who has already proven consistency at the very highest level. This interest in Gallagher also sends a strong and clear message. West Ham are not content merely with securing names such as Sungutu Magasa or Mateus Fernandes, two young and promising talents. The board understand that in order to truly change the course of the season and dispel the specter of a relegation battle, a bigger step must be taken. And that step would be precisely the arrival of a player like Gallagher, someone capable of taking responsibility in moments of greatest pressure, of leading on the pitch, and of becoming an immediate pillar within Graham Potter's setup. This move, therefore, is not solely about numbers, statistics, or scouting reports. It is also about the message the club send to the supporters and to the market that West Ham are prepared to compete with more traditional sides and to invest heavily in order to establish themselves as genuine contenders. For the Hammers, who have witnessed frustrating signings in previous windows, seeing Gallagher's name on the radar with a bid being prepared is fuel for dreaming of a stronger, more competitive, and more ambitious team. When placing Conor Gallagher and Mateus Fernandes side by side, certain points stand out and help explain why the British press regard the Englishman as a genuine upgrade. The first of these is experience. Gallagher, despite being only 24 years old, has already built a resume many seasoned players would envy. He has 111 appearances in Europe's top 5 leagues, 136 in the Premier League and 34 in La Liga, in addition to 17 Champions League matches and 22 caps for the senior England national team. He is a proven player, one who has already demonstrated his consistency at major clubs and in the most high-pressure environments. Fernandes, on the other hand, is seen as a talent for the future, but still in the process of establishing himself. The Portuguese midfielder has 36 matches in top-flight leagues and has yet to receive a call-up to the senior national team. He is promising, technically gifted, but the comparison shows that while Fernandes represents a gamble, Gallagher is already a certainty. One is a prospect, the other is a reality, and this is precisely where the discussion about risk comes in. Signing a young player can be a valuable investment, but it can also prove a risky move. West Ham know this all too well. The most recent case is that of Luis Guilherme, signed from Palmeiras amid great expectation. The Brazilian arrived surrounded by hype, with the press highlighting his potential and the supporters excited by the new addition. However, on the pitch, adaptation has proved difficult. The intense pace of the Premier League, the pressure for results, and the abrupt change of environment have shown that the transition is not always straightforward. This example serves as a warning that investing heavily in young prospects can yield returns, but it can also demand time, patience, and come at the expense of immediate results. That is why Gallagher emerges as the opposite of such a risk. He does not need to prove he can perform at the highest level. He already has. Whether at Chelsea, Atletico de Madrid, or with the England national team, Gallagher has played under maximum pressure and delivered consistency. It is the difference between investing in a player who still needs to adapt and signing someone who could step onto the pitch tomorrow and immediately change the team's performance. The attacking comparison also reinforces this view. Last season with Atletico, Gallagher featured in 47 matches, scoring 4 goals and providing 6 assists in 2,446 minutes. That equates to a direct goal contribution every 244 minutes or 1 every 4.7 matches. Fernandes, meanwhile, played 44 games, scoring 3 goals and supplying 6 assists in 3,409 minutes. His numbers reflect a contribution every 378 minutes or once every 4.8 matches. In practice, Gallagher produced more in less time, and often while operating in a deeper role. These figures help explain why the press regard Gallagher as the upgrade. Matheus Fernandes has potential and could grow significantly, but the Englishman's arrival would be different. He would add immediate intensity, experience, and leadership. For a West Ham side that have already begun the season on high alert, that difference could prove crucial. Ultimately, the choice between gambling on a prospect and investing in a certainty lies at the heart of this debate. The example of Luis Guilherme shows how signings of young talents can be treacherous in the short term. Gallagher, by contrast, represents exactly the opposite, a ready-made, reliable name with a track record to withstand the pressure of changing the course of the Hammers season. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. After weeks of busy transfer activity and much anticipation surrounding names such as Songutu Magasa, Matheus Fernandes, and even the young forward Francolino Jude London club now find themselves facing a situation that has raised a genuine alarm. The reason? Their interest in Victor Boniface, the Bayer Leverkusen striker, who could be a powerful addition to the squad, but who carries a worrying track record. The team's current situation explains this urgency. 3 consecutive defeats have made it clear that the season could become complicated far more quickly than expected. Co-owner David Sullivan and the board already recognize that without reinforcements, Premier League survival is at risk. The supporters feel it too. Patience is wearing thin, and every rumor of new signings directly stirs the emotions of the Hammers faithful. In the midst of this pressure, Boniface emerged as a possibility. Physically strong and natural goal scorer, a player capable of transforming the attack and bringing exactly what the side have been lacking. But the excitement fades once the details are examined. The Nigerian recently failed a medical at Milan, prompting the Italians to abandon a potential loan deal worth up to $21 million. That revelation came as a bucket of cold water for many fans, immediately reminding them of past signings that turned into headaches due to injuries. To make matters worse, a photo of Boniface's knee began circulating on social media, clearly marked almost patched up, which only deepened the suspicion. And West Ham fans are seasoned enough to know, when it comes to injury-prone strikers, the risk is enormous. There have already been cases of players who arrived with great expectations but ended up spending more time in the treatment room than on the pitch. The fear now is of history repeating itself. Meanwhile, other names continue to be mentioned. One of them is the young Francolino Jew from Midtjylland. Unlike Boniface, Jew is seen as a bet for the future, a young quick forward with an eye for goal. His numbers in Denmark are encouraging and give hope that he could be a positive addition even if he still needs time to adapt. Supporters view him with optimism as a type of signing that does not carry the same medical risks. The reality, however, is that the reinforcements closest to being confirmed are in midfield Magasa and Fernandes. Both are expected to be announced soon, which brings some relief to sections of the fan base. Even so, the demand for more remains. The attack is in urgent need of fresh options, and relying solely on the current choices has already proven insufficient. That is the key question: how to balance urgency with caution. West Ham need reinforcements now, but cannot afford to bring in players who may quickly become medical liabilities. The case of Boniface illustrates this dilemma well. In terms of quality, he could raise the team's level, but in terms of risk, his recent history raises every possible doubt. The board, therefore, are walking a fine line. On the one hand, there's pressure for immediate results and a need to show strength in the market. On the other, there's the fear of repeating mistakes that have proved costly in the past. For the Hammer supporters, every new name linked with the club is scrutinized in detail, and in Boniface's case, the consensus seems clear: he has talent, but the risk is far too great. In the end, the feeling is that West Ham will probably have to settle for midfield reinforcements in this window. That does not mean the search for attacking options is closed, but rather that a definitive solution for the front line may still require more time to be found. In the meantime, names like Ju provide hope, while cases such as Boniface serve as a warning that haste should not turn into regret. The club find themselves in a delicate moment where every step must be calculated. Reinforcements are urgent, but wrong choices could weigh even more heavily. It is this tension between necessity and caution that defines West Ham at this stage, and precisely what keeps the supporters hanging on every piece of news, every rumor, and every potential announcement.